Oh. Now there's definitely is a change. Maybe I was right, because I didn't remember seeing the owl. But now there's... who I presume is the fox, maybe? Tiny bunny. But why did the owl come before the fox in that case? We had a very long chapter last time. Let's load up and see what's in stock for us today. What's in store. So, I suppose this means continue. Episode 3. On and the wolf's grey fur will stand. He's the one who hated Baburin. Do you think he did it? I heard he's a weirdo. I hurriedly rubbed my glasses. The glasses. Semyon was clutching them in his fist while I was getting beaten up. And in just a couple of hours, this lost item was laying on the ledge of my window. It was hard to imagine that Sioma suddenly got guilty conscience and returned my glasses in such a strange way. A strange way it was, and how would I know where we lived? But we did see a glimpse of humanity in them, as they were almost turned into the bullied one once again himself. But yes, that is weird. The last moment of my last session, or that will be the last episode on YouTube, changed my way of thinking quite a bit, because it doesn't seem like it's a imaginative thing anymore, or as much, at least. Sort of jeopardizes that theory, which makes me even more curious. So, it was hard to imagine that Sioma suddenly got guilty conscience. I was shocked, but kept walking towards the classroom, accompanied by nasty whispers all around me. Also, this is not a dream. This is me really being there. I mean, it could be a continuation of the dream I had yesterday, but it seems more like this is actually real, which means that we did a good premonition, dreaming about the poster, the missing poster. That photo still stood before my eyes. Semyon had in fact gone missing. Semyon is gone. His fat fingers will never get to my throat. His signet ring won't smash into my chin. He'll never humiliate me again. Wasn't that what I wished for? It is sort of what I wished for a little bit in the start. Like, he said I belong in a loony house. I say he belonged in a prison. He ended up in a foresty prison. But it's wrong. I should not wish this upon my worst enemy. On the other hand, did I really wish Semyon to become a murky stain on the notice board? No. He was still someone's son, or a grandson, and he went through the same struggles as myself. Did I really wish for my unseen companion to dispatch him in such a brutal fashion? Oh, mysterious. I didn't really know the answer. Or I was just scared of it. I'm just imagining the fox imprint on the glass there, on the frosted glass, going like, oh, he doesn't know. I remember that phrase from yesterday. Oh, he doesn't know. She was a TC1. I wonder if we'll see her again. Maybe. Maybe not. Well, there's her. I said she would be back. I mean, she goes to school here, so of course she would be back. Nonetheless, school still had something nice about it. Polina, the girl with a violin, was like a mountain spring, like well water that you gulp down, pressing your lips against the sink outer ring of a bucket, and can't ever get enough. I remember you said something a little bit similar yesterday. You could not get enough of her. What if I make her one of the characters in the story I'll draw? The protagonist will save her from terrifying monsters. Oh, there are his well, he was one of the lackeys. They're his friends, if we can call them that. As soon as I thought of monsters, a bunch of my classmates slid down the rails, smirking like the xenomorphs from The Alien. Huh. Have you seen that at such a young age? I immediately felt larvae of fear writhe in my stomach. I didn't want to cross paths with Romka and Biasha, at least not after what happened yesterday, especially since Semyon suddenly went missing. Well, they're not going to believe that has something to do with me, right? Maybe they'll shape up because, like, oh, we messed with this one kid. We don't want to mess with him again. Maybe another one goes missing. Maybe they make a connection. At least one of them didn't seem that stupid, so... in they go. And we. I entered the classroom and went toward the last row. All of the chatter suddenly died down, so I walked there in complete silence. It felt like my classmates pushed and poked me with their stares. They carefully observed my every move. I suppose Katja has already spread rumors about me. They looked at me with a mortifying mix of pity, ridicule, and derision, like a scientist looks at an ugly representative of a newfound species of worms. I stared at the desk with a huge pile of library textbooks on top, my fists being clenched. It felt like I was the one who disappeared in that snowy forest, and in a way I think we did for a moment. My desk was finally used for something worthwhile. Semyon's empty chair stood in front of me. The chair that once belonged to Vova gathered dust somewhere in another classroom. I looked at the portraits of classical writers. My eyes stopped on Essenin's photo. Last year, I was tasked with learning any poem, and Dad suggested I learn one about the dog Jim, written by Essenin. I don't remember all the stanzas by now, but the last one was somehow deeply ingrained in my memory. I'm sure she'll come here. In my absence, please catch her eye. Go kiss her hand for me. For all my real or fancied errors, asking forgiveness of her in humility. Alright, who else can we look at? What is... Oh, okay, yeah. That looks like... Are those cigarettes? Every boy my age I knew had something like this in his arsenal. Powder firecrackers that blow up with a very loud sound. I don't think the teacher's going to be happy seeing that there. Especially inside an archway. It is said that they're produced in China, and that a single one of them can blow your finger off if you light it up and clutch it in your hand. Well, in my country, they were called China put. So I suppose that tells where we thought the origin came from as well. Especially the black corsair type. They won't be enough to blow up plastic soldiers, but when it comes to stuff made of plaster, they should work. Oh, what's this? An old, cheap slide projector that we penetrate with our stare. That's why it makes so much noise when we gaze over it. I call this model a tank because it looked like one. Oh yeah, it looks like you have the barrel right there. There was a time when I had a lot of cool fairy tales that we used to watch with Dad in complete darkness. I remember Little Raccoon and One Who Sits in the Pond, Kipling's Mowgli, and many others. I was immediately swept away by the memory of the projector's hum, of its hot casing, of its bright rays hitting the wall, turning it into a screen. Looks quite fancy. It looks very portable. It's a pity that the school's slides were mostly about minerals and PSAs. Okay, I suppose it's for here, so let's sit down. After a moment of hesitation, I sat down at Baburin's desk, the place where I was supposed to be assigned by Lilia Pavnola at first. The chatter resumed, as if someone just unpaused a movie. Yeah, they look at me as if I'm a bully now. Wait, maybe they think I killed the boy, so they don't want to get my bad side. Maybe that's what's going on.
Бабушка Бабурина такой кипиш устроила, когда он домой не явился.
Baburin's grandma made such a fuss when it didn't return home. She looks back at me and, almost as if reporting back to me, am I at the top of the food chain in here now?
Сначала в школу прибежала, потом ментов вызвала.
First she ran to the school, then called the cops.
Да-да-да.
Yep. Katja snuck a cunning glance at me, then leaned into her neighbor and whispered something, while smiling on and off. Girls from the second row also leaned in. She shared something with them, too. Whispers, nods. But that one sentence about the grandma, that I had to hear. Nothing else. She kept catching her stare on myself. Her neighbor stared too. The whole class was watching me. Stop spreading them rumors. I know it's what you do and all, but calm down. Just a tiny notch, will you? It was like they felt the need to watch me, because they were searching for traces of blood on my fingers. Maybe. Oh, did you hear that? Because you have those big bunny ears, don't you? I wanted to defend myself and shout, "Guys, listen, I'm innocent." Yeah, they are. We are scared of each other. Let's just put it like that. They keep their distance. They don't want to get any more trouble. They think that I did something. The delinquents turned around and stared at me in silence. Their looks were dripping with malice. But why? What did I do to them? Their friend went missing, and they're still focused on me. That's the 3Ds. Suddenly, I noticed Biasha drilling a hole in my nose with his eyes. It felt like he was about to point his finger at me and shout at the top of his lungs. Everyone, look, Baburin snatched his glasses yesterday, and now he has them back. Murderer. Baburin, hang on, was that the... Oh, that was the bye-bye. Okay, yeah. But he remained silent, as if there was nothing special at all about my glasses. I may be going mad, but I think Biasha knows something. He knows something, but he won't tell me what. There for sure are rumors going around here. I am the newest boy in town. They know something. For sure. Everybody knows something. As if looking for protection, I clutched the ruler until my hand hurt.
Не надо быть Коломбо, чтобы догадаться.
You don't have to be Columbo to solve this.
Кто на Бабурина зуб имел?
Who held a grudge against Baburin, huh? Okay, I actually meant to click the glossary. Let's see. An American crime drama television series starring Peter Falk as Columbo, a homicide detective with the Los Angeles Police Department.
Кто его вчера ударил? Поиздевался, а после...
Who hit him yesterday, bullied him, and then... Oh yeah, I guess they don't see what happened in the woods. And of course these two will stay quite quiet about it. They will keep shut. The metal ruler fell out of my... Metal? Well, those were the days. When I used rulers, they were plastic. And see-through. The metal ruler fell out of my weak fingers. It hit the floor with a jingle, and that made the other kids shudder. Katya bit her tongue and squirmed nervously. At least they've got to keep their distance, I suppose. Chairs scraped against the floor. My classmates moved away from me, closer to the exit, toward the teacher's desk. I was not the only one to catch a wind of that change. Romka and Biasha looked around and winced in contempt. Too bad that they weren't afraid of me like everybody else. I think they are, maybe not as much, or a different kind of afraid. I think they would have done something by now if they weren't.
Да прикуси ты!
Oh, shut it.
Бабурин, небось, с бабкой посрался и дымился.
I betcha Baburin just got a whipping from his old hag and ran off. Baburin. I suppose I struggle learning first names. The family names are going to be even harder, but yeah, that's the big guy, the big boy.
Скоро найдется.
They'll find him soon.
Найдется, ага.
And then now they are mocking him as well. He's like the first victim in all this. The first one who got bullied. Before my time. They'll find him, all right.
Во враге, со вспоротым брюхом.
In a ravine, with his stomach cut open. Why isn't she the leader of this gag? I imagined Sioma on a snowy blanket. Oh, the eyes half open. His face, white like a fish belly, split down the middle by the crevice of his mouth, snowflakes falling on his glassy eyes and filling up his throat. See? I could almost hear his condescending tone. It's all your fault. If you hadn't been such a bully, nothing of this would have happened. I mean, they were out there looking for me in the first place, from what I understand. Why was Semyon the only one who got... Why was Semyon the only one to get his just desserts for bullying me? Because he had my glasses. And wasn't he also the... I don't remember if he is the one who kicked the dog. I actually do not remember. It was one of the three. But also he was the one who was visibly mean to me. He's the one who touched me and went the violent route. Their bruiser and what's it called? The bouncer. So I suppose that upset the forests, regardless. Especially if the fox girl, who might be out there somewhere, had anything to say about that. Weren't all of them supposed to disappear? Well, one at a time. One at a time. Romka, Bisha, Katya, along with every laughing onlooker. Well, the school would be empty in that case. Of course, Semyon did me a favor by disappearing. Thanks to him, my classmates now stared at me in awe. Or fear, as you put it moments ago. But that was only one side of the coin. What if I'll have to repay that favor soon? The door creaked. Paulina entered the classroom. Oh, where was she? I straightened up in a hurry so she wouldn't see me looking like a scared critter. It's kind of ironic if they're all fair me and I'm a scared critter as well, just in the corner of the room. Paulina went to her seat without looking at me. Yeah, well, she's not deaf. She heard the rumors, I bet. Oh! That is extra loud just for me, or perhaps it just goes to show how sensitive we are to every noise around us. The ringer's thrill announced the start of the class.
Так, заканчиваем бардак. Дети, встаньте.
Alright, stop messing around. Class, stand up.
Петров, тебя это тоже касается.
You too, Petrov. Lilia Pavlova went to her desk, followed by a policeman in a uniform. Isn't that the one that came to our house? So his little admirer is in this class. It was the man, yeah, it was the man that visited us just recently. Tall, and his stare so sharp you could get cut on it.
Здрасте.
Hello there, children.
Здравствуйте!
Hello, takes off his hat. In respect.
Садитесь.
You can sit down, kids. I remember that we always had to stand up whenever someone was entering the room.
Познакомьтесь, это старший лейтенант Константин Владимирович Тихонов.
This is Senior Lieutenant Konstantin Vladimirovich Tikhonov.
Он задаст вам несколько вопросов и проведет небольшую лекцию по безопасности.
He is going to ask you a couple of questions and give you a small PSA.
Лучше лекция от милиционера, чем уроки.
The class livened up. Talking to a policeman was way better than studying. To the despair of the teacher. We're losing valuable time. Is this visit documented? I, on the other hand, was ready to sit through hundreds of hours of Russian literature just to escape the lieutenant's oppressive stare. Well, he is staring directly our way. I guess he also heard a rumor that it could be me. He has been giving me way too much attention ever since the first day he came to our house. Also, was that the man who was seen around the school, or was that someone else? Like in undercover clothing. Maybe not, I don't remember the face so much. His brown eyes felt around the classroom, scanning for me. Hair stood on the back of my neck, and an icicle had lodged in my gut.
А правда, что Бабурина маньяк убил?
Yeah, why are you looking at me when you say that? Is it true that Baburin got killed by a serial killer?
Екатерина, ну-ка цыц.
Shush,
Вопросы здесь
Ekaterina.
взрослые задают.
Let the adults ask questions here.
Просто нам всем страшно.
We're all scared. Yeah, you look real scared, all right.
Может, убийца бродит где-то рядом?
Maybe the killer is somewhere close. Hint at the hint.
Или сидит у нас за спиной?
Maybe they're even sitting among us. You corrupt son of a... Her sly stare was directed at me. Tikhonov stepped in between the rows of desks and started walking at an excruciatingly slow pace, brushing his fingers against the chairs he passed by. Some of the students almost broke their necks following his movements. Okay. That's how a crowd of commoners would gleefully anticipate a public execution in Middle Ages. And he just walked, getting closer and closer to me. Duck, duck, goose. I gritted my teeth to stop myself from screaming. Calm down. Breathe. You didn't kill or kidnap anyone. He already knew the answer to this question, but the policeman still asked in a stern voice.
Петров Антон?
Anton Petrov?
Да.
Yeah?
Встань, Петров.
Stand up, Petrov. My muscles turned to stone. I got up, unglued myself from the chair. I felt like I could hear all my joints creak in the process. I only wished that Polina wouldn't turn around and see the grimace of horror on my face. If only I could be somewhere far away in the forest, digging myself into a snow pile, rolling up into a ball there. The officer stared at me as if he was about to lock a pair of handcuffs on my wrists. I wonder how cold these bracelets are to the touch. Well, to be fair, the snow outside is probably colder. Since you talked about burying yourself in the snow. I imagined myself getting jailed and put into a juvenile detention center, where tens of Simeons would constantly harass me.
Я ничего не знаю. Я тут ни при чем.
I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this.
А тебя никто и не обвиняет.
Nobody is accusing you of anything.
Пока что.
For now. So a little pinch of accusation I can detect. Only then I noticed a file that said Case Number in his hand. It had a grey cover made from rough carton. Are these some of the contents from my bag that was dropped in there? And it says Lichnoye Delo, number 131. It flopped onto the desk like a guillotine blade that slid down on someone's neck. With a measured motion, Tikhonov opened the file, still studying me with his gaze. It looks like animal prints in the snow. I caught a glimpse of documents and photos. They showed prints on the snow. They looked like animal prints. That they did.
Ты с Семеном Бабуриным общался?
Have you talked to Semyon Baburin before? With my fist. Hello. Yes, I have talked to him.
Я знал его всего одну неделю.
I only knew him for a week. Oh, that long.
Все знают, Петров его ненавидел.
Everyone knows that Petro hated him. It's a bit soon to be prosecuting me. This is not a courtroom. I turned red. You ugly bitch. Well, he said it. His words, not mine. I wanted to sink my teeth into Katya's face and chew out her cheek. That's not very bunny-like. If we wanted to act in character anyway. Which we seem to act a little bit in character, which makes me wonder, were we about to turn? The fox seemed to turn. Were we turning? Something about the vision and all. It could have just been imaginative, but... I'm intrigued. This forest is special. Instead, I replied with the calmest voice I could muster.
Мы повздорили вчера.
We had a fight yesterday.
Но он первый начал.
But he started it. Well, in a way, she started it. I was pushed into her and then she made a ruckus. She sounded the alarm. So I hit him.
Сильно?
How hard did you hit him? Well, I didn't hit him out of this world.
Да нет, так.
Not that hard. I mean... I waved my hand indecisively, just to get him away from me. Give him a little scare. Tikhonov looked at my fist as if he was surprised that I managed to hit the big kid from the photo. Well, first it sounds like he was fishing for how hard did we hit him. Did we hit him so hard that he might have been so dizzy that he wandered off and then fainted? And now it's like, what? How did you even scratch that guy? Quite a contrast. Surprisingly, Lilia Parnovna came to my rescue.
Бабурин проблемный подросток, с шилом кое-где.
Baburin is a troubled teen, a true pain in the rear. Thank you, teacher. That was like a whole day too late. I asked for your help yesterday. The officer replied with a meaningful nod and fished out a notebook from the file.
Это
Algebra.
твое?
Is this yours? Here we go. I averted my gaze. It was a math notebook with my name on it. It's clearly fabricated. My classmates devoured me greedily with their eyes. Yeah, because now they know that we were probably together out there in the woods. So in their eyes, it's the first solid evidence they actually see other than Katya's senseless storytelling. But it doesn't prove that I did anything. So it felt like even the writers of the portraits squinted at me in suspicion.
Мое.
Yes, that is mine.
В лесу нашли.
We found it in the forest.
Там же тракторист, что снег убирал в последний раз, видел Бабурина.
In the area where the invisible tractor driver, who was plowing snow there, last saw Baburin. I started blinking in bewilderment. Romka ransacked my school bag. This notebook probably just got lost somewhere in the bushes or in the snow. We saw the entire contents of the bag just drop out. But I suppose we did get our bag with us. The lieutenant knew about the school brawl, but was he aware of the fight in the forest clearing? No, because the other boys wouldn't let him know, if he even talked with them. I had witnesses that could testify to Semyon and I walking in different directions after that. Those two boys will not concur. They will not take my side. There's not a chance. I looked towards the boys, hopeful. As hopeful as I looked after the little dog and the other friend in the forest yesterday, who seemed to have run off or vanished in thin air. Romka, who sat behind Tikhonov, put a finger to his lips. Yeah, they don't even want to know that they were there. I mean, it's a smart kid. It's a relatively smart kid. It's like, he's thinking mostly about himself. If I name him a witness, that means that he's also a suspect because he was also there. And when the officer quickly turned around, he pretended to pick on his nose. I deciphered his signal. Boys like Romka would probably say something like, "Snitches get stitches," in a situation like this. I frantically fixed my glasses, and I could sense a choice approaching fast. Wait, Semyon took them away yesterday, but now they are...
Так что ты делал вчера в лесу, Антон?
So what were you doing in the forest yesterday, Anton?
Я в школу через лес хожу.
I go to school through the forest.
Могла выпасть легко.
It could have easily fallen out of my bag. Easily, just like me producing this half-truth. It's only a half lie.
Будь осторожнее.
Excuse me. Be careful out there. Okay, thank you for retrieving this for me. Before I could realize whether it was a genuine piece of advice or a veiled threat, the teacher said, well, they know it's dangerous out there, so... But it's the policeman. He is a bit over the top suspicious of us in particular since the start. So the teacher said...
Класс. А сейчас лейтенант расскажет о правилах, которые вам необходимо соблюдать.
Class, the officer will now tell you about some rules you should follow.
Так маньяк все-таки есть.
So the killer does exist. What is it with this girl?
Пока мы ничего вам сказать не можем.
We can't make any of this public for now because we don't have anything to make public. But they barely even have speculation at this point. Start by finding the boy and the state that he is currently in, and then we talk.
Но есть преступник или нет, вы должны четко помнить о собственной безопасности.
Whether the criminal really exists or not, you should be mindful of your safety.
Вас бережет милиция. Вас опекают родители и учителя. Но в первую очередь защищать себя должны вы сами.
The police, your parents, and your teachers all watch over you, but no one guard you better than you yourself. I guess it makes sense, because only you can get yourself into trouble. In the sense of this forest and all, I suppose. You can easily stay away.
Итак, кто там что хотел узнать?
Alright, any questions? Yeah, what does this say here? It says militia. Militia. Is it Russia? Russia or something. Okay. A stockade of... okay, that wasn't a serious question. I'm sorry. I don't have a question for now. Or more like, can you break this gaze with me now? Can you try to find a killer somewhere else? Or suspect, or whatever you want to call it. Because not even I know what happened to him. A stockade of arms rose from the desks.
А у вас оружие с собой? А покажите пистолет.
The kids shouted over each other, swarming the policemen with questions.
Точно.
In an attempt to calm down that chorus, he moved toward the blackboard. The gray file was left lying in front of me. Why is it still there? I stared at it, my breath taking so ragged that I might have looked like someone who just ran a 100-meter sprint. Beads of sweat rolled down my back. I looked around the classroom. My classmates were catching officers' every word. Only Romka was saying something to Biasha. Yeah, they know that they're in it as well, so... they're not suspects, but they know they're in something. They didn't just lose their lackey. They, I'm not sure if they saw something yesterday, but maybe they heard like something from the forest. And maybe the owl visited them. Maybe. I mean, I keep getting like random glimpses of moments earlier on. Like I remember when I noticed this in hindsight that the fox girl hinted at liking me, not just her dog liking me, but she was scanning the houses. She was scanning the windows around, as if putting her mark in the windows, the frosted windows. And it's like she's trying to learn who lives where. Now that I think about it, she said she didn't live in the village. She had to stay away from humans. But she was in the village. And then she said something about human form. Okay, I'm going to continue before I get lost in thoughts again. I'm just trying to decipher this. Lydia Pavlovna was staring into the window, fighting back yawns. Okay, so she doesn't seem fazed by this. What is it with Lydia? There is something mysterious about her. I remember thinking yesterday, maybe this could be like a version of Alisa, in a way. I know she seemed a little bit fearless and all, and now she doesn't even seem fazed by it. Just like Alisa would be. But it's also far-fetched. It's just my thoughts going in every direction right now. I'm gonna keep on.
Комендантский час, причин пока нет.
Phase 1. What?
Слишком мало времени прошло с момента.
Oh god! As soon as I touched the folder, Tikhonov lashed at me with his eyes. Well, why did you put it on my desk then if I'm not allowed to play around with it? My hand instinctively moved away as if that scare actually hurt. The officer just kept staring at me without saying a word, making me squirm under the weight of this uncomfortable silence and the sneering looks of my classmates. Come on, man! This was meant to show me things. Like, oh, I have proof of stuff that you might have been there. Like, look through the evidence. And then he suddenly continued his speech as if nothing ever happened.
Исчезновение вашего одноклассника.
Phase 2.
Мы все уверены, что он найдется живым
Oh,
и
okay.
здоровым.
Hey, he turned around, but then he turned around again. I clanked my teeth from surprise, pushed myself into the back of my chair, blinking in bewilderment. The officer silently gathered the documents and gave me a stern look.
Больно ты любопытный, Петров.
Well, aren't you a curious boy, Petrov? You are a peculiar man, Tikhonov. You are a
Еще
peculiar
раз.
man. You missed the policeman's speech. Let me say this again.
Если вы заметите в поселке кого-то подозрительного, неважно, возле школы или на лесной тропинке, сразу сообщайте в милицию.
If you see anyone suspicious in the village, be it near the school or on the forest trail, contact the police immediately. This could be my time to shine, but until I learn more about Alisa, I couldn't possibly suggest to the police that she is like a... I wouldn't be able to turn her in at this point. She's a friend, even though she vanished when I probably needed her the most. But she is someone suspicious. But now it's just charming. It was so suspicious in the start, and then it just became part of her character.
Телефон-то знаете?
You know our number, right? 02.
Спасибо, ребята.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls.
Спасибо, Лилия Павловна.
Thank you, Lilia Pavlovna. So is Lilia the one looking up to him?
И это... Одноклассника вашего мы найдем.
And we'll find your classmate. Yeah, right. A thought flashed through my mind, as if we sort of know how dangerous the forest can be and all. Well, we do, but it's sort of like we have like a hunch. We can sense, sort of, that it's too late. Dig through enough stitches and you'll be able to piece him together. Like Legos. My thoughts turned evil for some reason, and I couldn't control them. Yeah, I noticed that you sometimes have like an uncontrollable inner violence nature, which can come in handy sometimes. Like, for instance, when you fought back. But, I tried to switch to the lieutenant's speech about suspicious individuals. What if I saw the killer before? What if I was a hair's breadth away from them? Is he suspecting the one from the forest? Suspicious people, How suspicious was the fox girl that wandered in the darkness? She was less and less and less suspicious. Okay, let me put it like this. She was always suspicious. It's just that she seemed like she wouldn't have any intention of harming me. It does seem like she is dubious. It does seem like if she doesn't know something, maybe she even has a hand in it. But it just feels like, I don't know, what does it feel like? It feels like she doesn't do it to be evil, per se. No, I have to see if I can find her again, see if I can actually figure her out. And that's what scares me, because she could very well be the killer in all of this. I do remember yesterday that she was chanting this new game, chanting the lines of, oh, let your flesh be eaten by the bear and the wolves. And I didn't quite pick up on that at the time because it just sounded like a game. But then she slowly transformed as well. So anyway, I'm just stalling at this point. I'm just stalling. Aware that it always appears out of nowhere and then dissolves into thin air with her riddles and rhymes. Could she really harm the hulking Simeon? Should I tell the officer about her? What if lives of other kids depend on this? Of the cute Xenia. I think that's a typo, isn't it? And Vova too. Wait, what if I get mocked for speaking out? What if they'll start whispering behind my back? Or what's even worse, think that I'm insane? Romka gave me a stern look over the shoulder. Oh, he thinks I'm gonna admit him. I doubt someone like him would approve of cooperating with the police. Katya's braid dangled nervously behind the delinquents sitting in front of me. My hand was glued to the desk.
До свидания, лейтенант.
Tikhonov was saying goodbye to Lilia Pavlovna. He was about to leave. So, if at one point this would be my chance, it'll be too late soon. I am not going to tell him no, not at this point. Maybe later, but for now, I have to find out more myself. I am a detective after all, a hobby detective. I love that the choice is about him. Stay silent. This is him saying it to me with his eyes. No way. I've had enough of humiliation. That's not the reason for my choice, but let's go with that. I'll keep my head down, like a bunny. we're becoming more and more one with the bunny. I locked my fingers and sipped my mouth. Oh my god. Ashim unlocked quiet as a mouse. You avoided everyone's attention. I wouldn't say that. I think I got everyone's attention in overdrive mode. The bell rang. Lydia Pavlovna passed by without looking my way. Polina left after her. I'm pretty sure they probably wouldn't be able to find the fox anyway. I mean, the fox girl, if the others can see her the way I see her, is so unique, visually unique, that surely someone must have referenced her by now in some way. I mean, I did say that she's very stealthy and sneaky, but she was walking like along the path every now and then. She was in the middle of the village as well in the morning. Like foxes were known to, like dusks and dawn. That's when foxes come out, isn't it? My classmates went silent at the same time as if someone muted the sound on a TV. They're like, the adults are gone. We're stuck now with this potential killer. They followed me with their eyes the whole time I was passing between the rows. Judgmental looks. I felt like I was in the scopes of many sniper rifles with lasers. I squeezed through the barricade made of desks, looking for Polina. Oh. But I stumbled into my new bodies instead. And maybe we get to have a more serious chat. Like you can see the pose on, I believe that was the leader, the one to the right, the one with the most authority. You can see his protective pose. He's sort of like, not in an attacking pose, he's in a protective pose. Romka swaggered up to me.
Решил сдать нас ментам?
Did you decide to rat us out to the cops? No.
Но я ничего не сказал.
I did not say anything.
Зато подумал-на.
But sure as fuck thought about it, eh? Of course anyone would have thought about it. You have two options. Of course you're considering them both. None are particularly pleasant, mind you. Romka towered over me, breathing out a faint smell of tobacco. Well, it's not the same bad smell as the big boy had.
Ты сильно ошибаешься, думая, что без Сёмы у тебя настанут веселые деньки.
You are very wrong if you think that without Sioma you'll have a better time here. You know, just in the way that you said this, it's sort of like, I'm not gonna call it gratitude, but it's sort of like, why did you not go for the other one? He's trying to understand me. It's like, you could have told the police. Why did you not? You have nothing to win by not telling the police, as you demonstrate with this sentence. But he's trying to analyze me, I think.
Мы тебя сосвету живем, понял?
We'll make this place hell for you. Got it?
До скорого, очкарик.
See you, Four Eyes. See, this is more like a very unfriendly and threatening endeavor. But it's not like with the big boy who just goes and shoves and punches. So, I'd say it's an upgrade. For now. My head tilted forward from his slap. Oh, okay. So it was like a little bit violent, a little bit physical. But still not as bad, I think.
Вот the лохна!
What a loser, huh? Okay, maybe it is very equal. Maybe I'm just being optimistic. Kick me. I wasn't surprised to find a note stuck to my back during the break. It said, "Kick me." My nightmare clearly wasn't about to end. It's been 7 days since the lieutenant visited our class, and since I took that phone call that said 7 days. I'm sorry, I just had to. At first glance, everything was still the same. There's our house with a towering, rotting tree. The forest still held out its gnarly claws towards the village, and the wind whipped up white flags weaved from powdery snow every night. When my parents argued in the other room, I would turn up the TV's volume to silence their muffled voices and sit close to Olia. You mean in her bedroom, because she was the only one who had a TV, wasn't it? And with Olia I'd said as well. Vova and Semyon's photos were still 2 black spots on the notice board, and round-faced Senya hasn't returned home too. Round-faced Senya? Who was Senya? Now I have the... Oh, yeah. No, that's... Senya. You know, Mia names. But something did change. I could see how different the looks of my classmates were. They met me with a new portion of pokes and insults. Contempt, mockery, and loneliness became my faithful companions. I still think that they're gonna be a little bit at bay. They're not gonna actively go for me, like seeking out the target, the new boy. They are busy with whatever's going on right now. They had their bully hand, the big boy, vanish on them. They have something to worry about right now. They're a bit scared. They're a bit shaken. But most importantly, a shadow slid across my desk, leaving behind a mysterious note. Oh, what could this be? I glanced into the space between rows, but the messenger was already nowhere to be found. Oh, maybe that was the violin girl. Who sent me this note? What could this carefully ripped out and neatly folded piece of paper be hiding from me? Find out in the next episode. Now I'm gonna read this now right away. More threats and humiliation, or a hint, maybe. I took the piece of paper and carefully inhaled the wafting aroma. Blackberry. Yep, that's not a violent girl. Violin girl. Jesus, she intoxicates me apparently as well. Okay, I'll be waiting at a what? Cul-de-sac? I'll be waiting at a cul-de-sac near the dressing room. Come alone. Heart. Inside was a message in a beautiful handwriting. I'm waiting, yeah. Near the dressing room. Drunk on that sudden call, I immediately started walking, looking over my shoulder from time to time, making sure nobody is following me. You know, this game keeps tricking me. Maybe it's one of those kids playing a prank. It's sweet music. Stop the sweet music. You're conflicting me. Even though I suspected it could be another trap set by Romka and Biasha at first, this buzzing thought soon left my mind. The two of them didn't have enough combined brain power to fake Polina's notes so carefully, and detect her aroma and infuse it with the note. I didn't even notice how I almost broke into a run and jumped around a corner. Almost. Oh, as soon as I did that, I rammed into somebody inside the dark nook. Oh. Ow. Well, speaking of the sun. Like a magic bird, a green notebook glided to my feet. Polina puffed her cheeks in exaggerated anger. Sorry about that.
Петров! Да ты совсем зрение потерял.
Have you lost your mind completely, Petrov? I fixed my glasses. My nearsightedness wasn't that embarrassing anymore. I bent down and picked up the notebook. I mean, I am a nerd. She's sort of like a nerd. In a way, maybe. So we have something in common. In a way. I bent down and picked up the notebook.
Прости, я так торопился. Ты меня ждала? Что случилось?
I'm sorry, I was in a rush. Were you waiting for me? Did something happen? Well, I guess now we'll find out if she's the one who wrote it or not. Polina studied me with her eyes and clicked her tongue. Maybe she went... if she did make the note, she probably like, come alone. She wants to talk to us alone about what happened. She's curious. But she wants to have it through an alone time with me.
А знаешь, на что ты похож, Антоша?
Do you know what you look like, Antosha? No?
На блюзовую импровизацию.
Like blues improv. I blinked in bewilderment. Blues improv?
Это как?
Isn't that like a musical term?
Для меня все люди с чем-то ассоциируются.
I always associate people I know with something.
И для меня. Но не с музыкой же.
I do that too, but why music?
Вот как раз с музыкой.
It can't be anything other than music. It's her big, big passion. And it's great to have a passion. Music is a wonderful passion. It does things for the soul and mind as well, and it spreads that joy with others.
Бывают люди гитарные соло. Или барабанный бой. Или военный марш, как наша Лилия Павловна.
Some people are like guitar solos, some are drums. People like our Lilia Pavlovna are war marches. War marches. Well.
А ты такой задумчивый, таинственный, иногда немного печальный.
And you're so thoughtful, so pensive, so mysterious, sometimes even a bit sad, perhaps a little bit hard to read. Yeah, we do keep to ourselves. And we have reason to be sad, and we have reason to be worried. And I guess she's picking up on that. She seems to be very much alike us in many ways.
Ты точно блюз.
You're definitely blues.
А почему импровизация?
And what about the improv part? Because we seem to make the best of the situation, we always manage to turn the situation to something positive. We do half-lies every now and then together, we improvise.
А это когда слушатель не догадывается, куда свернет мелодия, какой темп возьмет.
It's when the listener has no idea where the melody will go, what tempo it will adopt. Oh, is that called the improv? Of course, some of the things Polina said went completely over my head. But I couldn't stop looking at her smile, light like a breeze in May, and her eyes, deep and blue.
Чтобы распознать в тебе музыку, нужен опыт и вкус.
One needs to have experience and taste to recognize the music in you.
Это не какая-то там эстрада.
You're not some pop music.
Я, наверное, вообще не знаю, что такое этот блюз.
I don't even think I know what blues is. She took that personally. Polina gasped and frowned, which made her look even more beautiful. Well, okay. Yeah, it's... Music is her whole life, and she probably expects that music is as big part in other people's lives as it is in hers.
Не произноси при мне такие слова. Я тебе обязательно дам кассету.
Don't say something like that to my face. I'll make sure to give you a cassette. Well, don't threaten me with a good time. It sounds like quite a threat in the first half, but now you want to give me something.
Раньше мне дедушка из города столько музыки привозил. И джаз, и свинг, и классику.
Grandpa used to bring me so much music from the city. Jazz, swing, and classical too.
Это он подметил, что у меня склад ума, как у музыканта.
He was the one to notice my musical mindset.
Я еще совсем маленькой пыталась на бумаге записать звуки природы. Пение дождя, леса.
When I was still very little, I tried recording the sounds of nature on paper. Oh, the songs of the rain and the forest. So you are a little bit pulled toward the forest as well. Maybe that's why you peeked out the window at one time.
Эх, мне бы твои уши.
I wish I had ears like yours. Maybe she will start seeing my bunny ears as well. Ears is like 50% of what I am when I turn into a bunny, isn't it?
А мне бы твои глаза.
And I'd love to have your eyes. I tensed up, worried that she was making fun of me, but Polina shook her head.
Да-да, я серьезно. У тебя глаза художника.
No, I'm serious. You have the eyes of an artist.
Смотришь на вещи и фиксируешь их. Я так не умею.
You're so good at picturing things. I can't do that. Oh god. She has the most twisted smile. Katya walked past us with her trademark frosty glare. We dove into the shadows, trying to escape it.
Теперь понимаешь, почему мы тут прячемся? Вот из-за таких, как она.
You understand why we're hiding here, right? Because of people like her.
А Катька какая мелодия.
And what kind of melody or instrument is Katya? Polly and I flashed me a sly smile. It's no wonder that I thought maybe she was related to the Fox Girls, because she's sly. Sly, cunning.
Скрип несмазанных дверных петель.
The squeaking sound of unoiled door hinges. Well, that's an instrument too now.
Знаешь, такой мерзкий дискант.
You know, this nasty descant. I giggled, covering my mouth. Katya didn't hear our whispers, but she suddenly glanced over her shoulder, clearly annoyed. A moment later, she sighed and went her way. She probably suspected we talked about her. Or she was maybe unhappy that she couldn't hear something to rumor about. I remembered about the notebook I was still clutching in my hand. I turned it in my hand. Friends only. Polina Morozova. Instead of a subject name, the front side had a name of the owner and 2 words. Friends only.
Любопытной Варваре кое-что оторвали.
Curiosity killed the cat, you know.
Прости, это анкета?
I'm sorry. Is this a questionnaire?
Заполнял когда-нибудь?
Have you ever filled one?
Угу.
I lied that I had. In reality, girl classmates from my previous school had never asked me to fill their questionnaires. It was quite upsetting. I'm not familiar with this concept, I think. And I guess this is why. It was a girl hobby. You just answer a set of standard questions about your favorite actors and colors, but entrusting someone with such a notebook was a sign of friendship. And speaking of friendship, this music in the background, I heard this yesterday as well. It's such a beautiful track. And it also has this violin that sort of just amplifies the mood. Emotional. Very nice. Maybe something even more. Something I only had a vague idea about.
Хочешь, заполни мою?
You can fill in mine if you want. My heartbeat quickened.
Хочу, спасибо.
I do, thank you. Polina giggled.
А хотя... Там же столько секретов.
Actually, there are so many secrets there. I suppose the whole questionnaire is going to be filled with like musical questions and musical themes.
Наверное, лучше тебе не знать, о чем мы, девочки, думаем.
You'd be better off not knowing what we girls think. She reached for a notebook, playing with me. I tossed my finding into my free hand. Polina tried to intercept my move. Her hair briefly touched my face, tickling my nose with its silky locks. I sensed an aroma that immediately filled the whole world. Fragrant, alluring, lively. If only I could picture it all, steal it for myself. I felt dizzy, but I gathered myself and spoke in a voice reminiscent of Lieutenant Tikhonov.
Ваша анкета является важнейшей уликой, и я вынужден временно изъять ее для изучения.
Your questionnaire is an important piece of evidence, so I'm afraid I have to confiscate it for further examination. Pikachu's shocked face. Polina covered her mouth that rounded in fake horror.
И что мне грозит за сокрытие улик?
And what are the implications of concealing evidence?
Следствие покажет.
We'll decide that in the course of our investigation. Oh, Anton, you watch too much mystery.
Сдаюсь, товарищ милиционер.
I surrender, Mr. Policeman.
Только обещайте ничего не читать.
Just promise you won't read anything.
Здесь содержатся секретные сведения.
It's full of sensitive information.
Боюсь, что мне все-таки придется выяснить, не влюблен ли кто в гражданина Петрова.
I'm afraid I'll have to investigate whether someone is in love with Mr. Petrov. Oh, god damn it, you Casanova. Wait. She laughs just like the fox girl. Yeah, I'm sorry. My head just froze there for a second. My head just froze there. Probably just a coincidence. Polina burst out laughing and pressed herself against my chest, showering me with the aroma of her hair and her milky skin that looked almost transparent, with tiny threads of veins running under it. Her whisper was hot, like a piece of butter sizzling on a pan.
Тогда поклянитесь, что не станете разглашать информацию.
Then swear that you will keep this information private. She says a little bit more, not threatening, but a little bit more convincing maybe, not as playfully. She playfully was like, oh, please don't look through this, fondling with her hair, almost expecting him to, and I was like, well, now you have to swear not to watch, not to look in it.
Честная милицейская.
I swear on my police badge. Well, what happened with we have to investigate everything we have.
А теперь, Антоша, самое время поторопиться.
Loud. And now we need to hurry, Antosha. How is this game managing to make my brain go mush? I'm trying to make like a little roadmap of a theory in my head, and it just knocks it all down. It burns it up in flames. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Something as innocent as this. She probably has nothing to do with Alisa at all, whatsoever, but she keeps having those weak hints, those weak parallels, and then it was a laugh. Yeah, it's nothing. It's nothing. I took out the notebook during class.